Welcome to the third episode of How to Get a Guy in 10 Ways podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Markham.
And I'm your host, Danielle Hanlon.
And today we're covering where do I find him? How to be in the right place at the right time. But before we really dive in to episode number 3, it's a big deal. So
huge deal.
Buckle up, everyone. We just wanted to read this wonderful testimony that someone sent us way back when. This is probably October 2023, when Danielle and I recorded an episode about dating, about starting to date on Head to Heart podcast, which I'll link in the show notes if you're like, what's Head to Heart podcast? Or what do you mean? I need to listen immediately. It'll be there for you. Don't worry. Someone sent us the sweetest message, and we just wanted to share it with all of you. So this person said anonymously, "It helped me get over my weirdness about dating and guys. I now have so much more confidence putting myself out there. I was able to be bold and let an amazing guy know I had feelings for him and I wanted to explore them. Thanks in part, like a big part, to your content. While we broke up after 6 months, we still had a really beautiful relationship that was exactly what we both needed in that season and beyond. I am so, so thankful for your podcast." And we just wanted to read that and say, wow, when you actually put yourself out there, wonderful things can happen, which is the whole point of this 10 episode podcast.
Also, when you take Jenny and I's advice, wonderful things can happen.
Usually wonderful things happen.
That's something to also just keep in mind.
When bad things happen, we are not held responsible.
We want all of the credit for the good things, none of the blame for the bad ones, as Michael Scott would say.
Exactly. So if any of you are having any positive interactions, any success with taking any advice from these episodes, we would love to hear those stories because they make us celebrate. We want to celebrate with you. So you have a link in the show notes that has a Google Doc, and it says, do you have any questions you'd like us to answer on the show? And then it says, any feedback for us? In the feedback portion, tell us what happened. We'd love to hear.
We want your dating stories.
Yes.
We want your successes. We want your failures. Did you put yourself out there? Because what Jenny and I are hoping to do is encourage and empower you to go out there, be bold, and get a handle on your dating life. We don't want this to just be another podcast where you're like, oh, great tips. I'm going back to the way things
doing
were.
Exactly what I always
I'm going to do exactly what I always have done. I'm not going to try to get over my fear of rejection. I'm not going to put myself out there. I'm not going to be bold. So let us be your friends in this. If you're too embarrassed to share your failures with someone you know, send them anonymously to us. We are still going to celebrate that as a win because you are taking action and taking a stake in your dating life.
That's called growth.
And we are proud of you
for
all things.
In advance.
Yeah. Just know we're celebrating you.
In advance. So today we're talking about, where do I find a good guy? Well, that's a great question. A nuanced one, but not a super difficult one to answer. And you may say, well, can't I technically meet someone literally anywhere? Yes, you can meet someone literally anywhere. Exhibit A, my parents met at a gas station, and here we are 40-something years later. Isn't that insane? Who knew?
I'd say.
My friend also met her husband at an airport. What? How? Not even on the plane. Not in the plane.
At the airport.
Like next to each other in seats. At the airport. Isn't
you can meet someone anywhere. My parents met at a party that mutual friends were throwing that they just both happened to show up at.
Wow.
You can really meet someone. Well, I guess that's not as crazy as a gas station. I was like, no. Let me top your airport story.
It doesn't have to be so
crazy.
But
the point is that you can and you will meet someone absolutely everywhere. So we need to start keeping our eyes open, viewing lots of things as an opportunity to potentially meet the love of your life.
And you can meet someone anywhere, but there are certain places that your chances will be lower of meeting someone great. And then there are other places that your chances will be higher of meeting someone great. So we want to up your chances as much as possible.
Yeah.
I asked on Instagram, I said, any married women out there who want to share with me where they met their husband and the answers.
I'm ready for the answers.
I think you'll get a kick out of them because I haven't shared them with you yet, right?
No, this is a surprise to me too. I'm going in this blind with the listeners. I was going to call them viewers, but I don't know if you're watching
Well,
us.
some of them can be viewers. Okay. I'll read the responses that came in. First one. I met my husband in a college ministry. Wonderful. I met him through an old friend. I met him on the streets, LOL, but seriously, on the street of El Salvador because he was our driver. There are
Wow.
a few of these are from El Salvador just because I've been there quite a bit. And so I know some people
They're a success in El Salvador.
They are a success.
For dating.
I said, wow, what a classic meet and greet country. But so yeah, that's so cool. He was their driver. And then they hit it off. What do you know?
That's amazing.
Someone said at a concert.
Great.
In the basement of the church we used to go to. Not a church. In the basement of the church.
It's a little murdery.
Someone else said church. Classic. A college ministry event. He was a customer at the place I worked. Bumble. I love hearing that one because you don't hear about Bumble a lot.
No, I feel like I hear about Hinge more.
At college, but he was dating my roommate at the time. Oopsie.
I love it for you. I don't love it for your roommate.
I know. Well, things probably didn't work out. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
Another person
He's
said...
still dating my roommate too, actually.
He is my husband, but he's also still dating my roommate.
We're both very happy.
Someone else said El Salvador. I know that person. They met their husband on a 6-week mission trip to El Salvador, so that's pretty cool. At the movie theater. That one's crazy.
That one is crazy.
How do you meet someone at the movie theater? That's insane. Inner city mission trip to New Orleans. And online on a free dating website back in 2011 before Tinder. And I said, farmersonly.com, of course. I'm just kidding. At the concert. So I knew the person who sent that in. And then I thought, wait a second, I have to ask some follow-up questions because I know they met at a concert. But then I really thought, how is that possible? Concerts are so loud.
Yeah.
There's all these strangers. Is it standing only? How do you even hear anyone? I feel like if I met someone at a concert, I'd be like, what? The whole time. But I did get her to give me the deets. Okay. Here's how it all happened. I said, please tell me the details of how on earth that actually came to fruition. So they were seeing a local band. So this wasn't a ginormous concert, like paying hundreds of dollars to be there. And it's absolutely ginormous. Both of them had been dragged there separately by their friends. Neither of them actually really wanted to be at that concert. And they were standing in the back. It's a local small venue. And the guy was like, saw her, thought she was pretty, and then he watched her just for a little bit just to see if she was with a guy. So he was just saying, okay, is she with her boyfriend? Because I don't want to.
Because if she's giving off single vibes,
like you in your car,
like I was giving off in my car, then that's the cue to approach.
That was that was really good.
That's a great
good
story.
Point. Good point. And then so he was watching her during the openers. Then in between the openers and the actual band coming out, he went up to her and said, hey, can I buy you a drink? And she said, I'm actually the DD, so I'm not going to be drinking. But then he asked her some very basic get-to-know-you questions. Literally, like, how do you know the band? What college did you go to? And what church do you go to? And then they exchanged Instagram accounts, put it right in their phone. And here they are today, married.
Ring on it.
Isn't that crazy?
So the point is, this is all to show you that you can meet people anywhere. Jenny and I will share at the end of this episode more about our stories where we met our husbands. But to preface it, we did both meet our husbands at school. So you might be thinking, okay, well, school's easy to meet people. And both of you met your husbands at school. How's that going to help me? I'm graduated. I'm not planning on going to school. All sorts of things. But we just want to show you that it's proof you can meet your husband anywhere. We have plenty of friends that have met them different places. One of my best friends met her husband at a wedding. They were just coming with random people. Weddings are great places to meet people. If you give off single vibes, ladies, if you listen to our last episode. But it might be an indicator, if you're not in school, you're thinking like, that might be an easier place. I'm around people all the time. For you to start thinking, okay, then I guess I might need to put myself out there a little more. Because I do feel like, I don't know what you think, school is a little bit easier. So if you're in
Yes.
school, that doesn't mean you have to marry someone around you.
No.
But just know it's probably the easiest it will ever be to just be around a lot of people at one time, be in a lot of different social settings with a lot of different friend groups. So maybe if you're thinking about dating and you're like, oh, it'll be easier after college, it's not necessarily the case.
Not
So
necessarily.
one, if you're in school, it's a good time to jump on it, explore your options, see what's out there. And two, if you're not in school, do not give up hope, because that's what this episode's about. How do you find a guy outside of situations where it feels like, oh, that seems really easy, or I've already bypassed that phase of my life? Is there any hope for me? There's hope for you, and we're here to share with you how.
And we just want to say that even though there are so many different places you can go, the majority of the time when you put yourself out there in a social setting and you go outside of your house, you go to the store, you go to the movie theater, you go hang out with friends, you go to a party, whatever, the majority of the time you are not going to make a romantic connection with someone, because you can't go in expecting, I'm going to make so many romantic connections. No one's going to see anything like
everyone.
You
this
have
is the
no
Bachelor.
idea.
They
Everyone
are all my
is
connections.
super attracted to me all the time.
Yes, you are not the Bachelorette. We just have to
Exactly.
preface it.
Yes.
They all don't want to date you right now.
But that's okay. That's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
That's
actually real
very
life.
normal. So here's the thing, is that you just have to be open. And everything we're about to say basically applies to making friendships too. Because if you are opening yourself up to meeting new people, you're bound to make a friend. And then in that, you might be more apt to meet someone that you have a romantic connection with. So you don't go in saying, I'm going to meet so many guys tonight. You have no idea. It's more, I am open to new experiences, new conversations, new people. And you just never know what's going to come of those conversations. It could be you find out this person's taken. You find out this person has a friend you'd like to set them up with. You find out this person might be a good match for you. You never know.
You never know. So you don't want to rule it out. They could even be a network connection for a job.
Yep.
But the whole point of doing the episode on really getting over your fear of rejection, or figuring out how to kind of heal from rejection in the past or things, is so that when we're talking to you about, you're going to need to be bold and pretty courageous and put yourself out there, that's not one of the limiting factors. Because we both feel that's going to be probably the most common excuse of like, okay, well, I'm so afraid of rejection that I don't want to take your advice. I don't want to go out there. I don't want to like be open to all these things. So if you haven't listened to that episode, or you feel like you're not in that place yet, that's where we'd recommend going first if you're listening to these out of order, because this is going to be an episode that really calls you to be bold, because we're asking you to put this into practice.
To get out of your house.
Yes.
Go do new things.
Yes. You will have to leave your house.
Cattle project. Just kidding. So something super interesting that I learned in school was studies show that you are most likely to fall in love with the person you are around very often. It actually doesn't have much to do with your attractiveness. So in one study that was done, they took this group of guys and they showed each of these guys the same headshots of different women. I think there were 5 women. And there was one that was a supermodel, something like that. And then there were others that were normal, everyday people, right? And every one of them said, well, the supermodel's really pretty. But then they had these one-on-one, very brief interaction dates with those women. And then they only saw the supermodel once, but they saw every other girl 5 times. And each one of them said they picked one of the average, wonderful women and said, yeah, I had a real good connection with her. I really am attracted to her. No one picked the supermodel because they only saw her once. And so it's all about being around the people you would like to be around with long term. Just think about that.
Think about
that.
We're going to do an episode later in the season about online dating, because this sometimes is where it probably gets tricky online, which is why, you're kind of like swiping and you're like, do I find this person attractive? Because we're hardwired to be attracted to the people that are around us. So we'll get into kind of maybe how to online date a little bit better, help you with that.
Yes.
But it's something to know that might be a hurdle. It might be why maybe online dating doesn't feel as good or as successful, because all of us are hardwired to think like this, to view people like this, to be attracted to people in this way. So that's why our first step is to encourage you to get out there first, and then we'll talk about online after.
Because you do have to meet people in person eventually anyway.
Yes.
So no matter what we say during this episode, it will help you with online dating if you're doing that too.
Exactly.
We will have a whole episode about online dating. Don't worry.
We're going to get there. We're not going to leave you hanging.
Hold on. Don't worry.
Because
we know.
Plenty of people have met on Bumble and Hinge. So you will have to meet someone eventually in person, or even friends in person. So we are not against online dating at all. Plenty of people we know have met people on different dating apps, and it's been super successful. And I think it's a great way, like another tool in your toolbox to get out there.
So just want to say before we really jump in that if you are going around with a cynical attitude that you're saying, but where are they? But where are all the good guys? I mean, I just can't find them. There's probably none left. If you're going out with that mentality, you are less likely to make good connections, and you're more likely to come off as standoffish or cynical, because that's what's going on in the inside of you. So if that's what's going on, we want to give you so much hope that it isn't true. It isn't true. And the more you up your chances, the better your chances will be. And then more payoff will happen. So if there is a place that you have met men, but nothing has really come out of that too great, or you look around the room and there just isn't a single available man in the places that you usually hang out, spend less time there and more time in a setting that will up your chances. This could be even on a certain dating website. Like if you've been on that same dating website for years and have not had any really good interactions or dates from that website, get off. Why? Try something different. Try a different dating website, or maybe take a break from the apps and just try in real life for a while.
I do know, and we can talk about this on our online dating pool, there's like an app, Upward. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I have.
Which is
I've only heard positive things.
I've heard positive things. I also have heard that there's not like that many people always in your area.
Right.
So sometimes also understand that when you meet someone, you might meet them at some of these crazy places. Maybe you're traveling. Sometimes it also comes with changing up your exact dream for your future and being flexible to the person that you meet, maybe in a different place or in a different location or something like that. So just know that these are real people with real lives and real dreams, and you might meet them in a really crazy place. And sometimes when you're online, I think it allows you to pick and choose, like, well, I can find someone exactly where I am, and I can find someone with all these qualifications, and I don't actually have to take the risk of getting to know those things about them in person. All right, we're going to give you some stats. This is a Forbes study on where people are meeting other people to date.
Great news is people meeting in real life is going up.
It's going up because I think, especially after COVID,
I know
most people were probably meeting people on an app.
Connection so badly that it was like, I'm tired of Zoom, I'm tired of online dating or whatever. And that is going up. So people are meeting in real life more.
Okay, so a Forbes study interviewed 5,000 people and all the places that they've met someone romantically. 45% just about had met someone on an online dating app. Mind you, this data is going to be like one person may have met different people multiple places. So you're going to be like, why are these stats not adding up to 100? It's out of the 5,000, 45% have met someone in a dating app. That's still the highest number. 25% of those people have also met someone on online video games, which doesn't shock me because you're doing a hobby together. You already like the same things. Again, that's still proximity to me because you're probably playing the same video game with someone over and over.
Have the headphones on to be able to talk right then.
Yes. Concerts and festivals are almost at 32% of people had met someone at a concert or a festival. Speed dating's about 21%, which a funny story, one of my friends who is single was going to go to a Christian speed dating event, but they wanted everyone to dress up as their favorite Bible character. You let us know in the comments. Is that a red flag? Is that a green flag?
What do you do?
Who do you dress?
Do you just have that in your closet?
I feel like I would have gone as like a bit. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I would have gone as like Moses or something.
I would have gone as like a loaf of bread.
I would have gone as the fishes. You could have gone as the bread.
Would you find that fish?
We would have not found a spouse. We would have just found each other.
Yeah, we're made for each other.
We were finding more friends at that event. That's a good thing we didn't try to meet our husbands there. Social club or a hobby, 30% of participants had also met someone at a social club. At the gym, almost 15%. That's a really good place. Again, it's something that you guys both have in common, and you're seeing each other over and over. Through work is about 25%, social media 26.5%, through a friend still 34%.
That's pretty good.
At a party 21%, in a bar is just about 20%. A grocery store, actually 10% of these 5,000 participants have met someone at a grocery store, or public transport. 5.5%. So these are all places that people have met people. Obviously, most people in this study, someone that they met was online dating. Most people, almost 50% of this study, they had all met someone romantically through online dating. But it's very encouraging that a lot of these other places, people have met people that they were involved with romantically. So let that be an encouragement to you that there's things outside of online dating. Yes. Should that not be the avenue for you?
Mm-hmm. And in order to up your chances the best they possibly can, there are certain places that you probably shouldn't just hang out and spend a lot of your time. Like, of course you can do these things, but not if you're trying to spend a lot of time there thinking, I'm going to meet someone great there. Your chances are fairly low. Of course, anything can happen. But not the best chances.
We're playing the odds, however.
So let's say, I want to meet a good Christian man. Maybe not going to meet him hanging out at a bar 24/7. He might be an alcoholic if he's hanging out at a bar 24/7.
Or he might be the bartender.
Yes.
Maybe that's a good choice. Maybe it's not a good choice.
I don't know. The chances aren't super duper high of this being such an amazing relationship, but you never know.
Just a comment.
Okay. If you're constantly hanging out in the women's ministry in your church, now there are probably very few single available men in the women's ministry at your church.
We want you to be involved in your women's ministry.
Please be involved.
Do not go there looking for your spouse.
Yes. Inside your grandma's house. If you're hanging out with your grandma all the time, she's probably not going to introduce you to the man of your dreams. Now, of course, anyone can set up someone.
Maybe she's got a cute neighbor.
But how many young available men does she actually know? Think about that.
What young available men is your grandma hanging out with, and why? And that's our question.
And why?
And if a lot, can she offer her services as a matchmaker? We'll get in touch with you in the comments.
You're probably not going to meet a young available single man in the four walls of your own home. So you need to get outside your own home. Out doing
something. If you take one thing away from this episode,
get out.
Get out of your house.
Get out of here.
Spend time being introverted somewhere else, even if you are an introvert.
Even in public.
Spend time doing things by yourself.
Yeah.
Not at your house. Maybe in a shared space in your apartment building, if you don't want to leave. On a park bench, walk around a lake somewhere.
Take a book to a restaurant by yourself if you want.
But he's not going to drop from the sky.
Mm-mm.
He's just not. And I feel like we have to emphasize this because it can be so easy to sit in your house and have really good intentions. But good intentions do not equal good results.
No.
You could be in your house working on yourself from here till kingdom come, and you can feel like you've done all this work and you've put in all this stuff and you're healthy and ready to date, and you still may never get a date because you're not putting yourself out there.
Yes.
Do not leave this episode without that mindset.
Mm-hmm. Tinder's probably not going to be the place you meet your husband. It's not necessarily made for those type of relationships. You're not going to meet him eating in the break room at work alone on your lunch break. If you want to spend time eating lunch, go spend time in the presence of other people at work eating lunch. You will not meet him when you order absolutely everything you need online. You got to get out. You got to go to the store. Don't order everything on Amazon. Can't be fully dependent on that. You got to go out, grab the stuff yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
You're not going to meet him if you are on your phone in every in-between moment you have. So this includes like when you're standing in line, when you're eating lunch, at a coffee shop, on your work breaks. If every single in-between waiting moment you have, your head is down on your phone, that really just communicates to the world, I am unavailable. I am busy doing something on my phone right now. So someone's probably not going to walk up to you and start conversation. And then, of course, last but not least, what will not set you up for success is only hanging out with the same girl group every weekend. You got to branch out. You got to meet new people.
We love our girl gangs. We love our girlfriends. You're not dating them.
No.
And if they haven't set you up with one of their friends, they're probably not doing it right now. So you have to make yourself available. Think about also where you would want to meet someone and frequent there. We'll go over some places that might set you up for success. But I also want to reinforce the phone thing. We've all become a little socially awkward, I think. When we're in line, even like Jenny mentioned, in a break room, or you're at a coffee shop, or you're at a restaurant and your friend goes to use the bathroom and you're sitting there alone, we immediately whip out your phones. I want to challenge you. Be a little awkward in that moment. Do not touch your phone. Look around. Look for people that you can make connections with. Chat with the waiter. This is going to feel so uncomfortable at first and so like alien to not just in every spare moment be picking up your phone and looking at it. But honestly, I think it's going to make you more aware of who's around you and who's present. And also, you never know who you can meet when you're sitting on an airplane and you're ready to immediately put your headphones in. Wait to see who sits next to you. Maybe it's a cute single guy and you can talk to him, but you would have just totally been looking unavailable if your headphones are already in, or you're in a break room and other people frequent it. Don't leave your headphones in for the whole lunch break. Maybe just sit there silently with your own thoughts and wait for an opportunity to chat with someone. You need to start living like you don't have your phone, because it is absolutely killing your social interactions, which is then killing so much of your chances to meet someone. So we're going to use those phones if we're online dating. And then when we're out in public, pretend that they're not there. Be present. That means you're also open for people to come up and say something to you. And I've met just so many random people in that way that I wouldn't have met if I was just unapproachable being on my phone. So if you're going to take one other thing away from this episode, get off your phone in public. Be present.
You could say, but I need it for online dating. Well, even in online dating, we understand that. And even then, you should have time limits of what you're scrolling, even because you don't want to become judgmental, superficial, just looking at people's faces. We'll talk about that all in much more detail. Don't worry. It will come out in another episode. But here's the thing, is that there are certain places that will set you up for success.
Yeah.
It's not a guarantee, but it's definitely more likely. So being involved in your church, not just attending your church. That's such a big difference. You know when you're involved, when you know people, when you're meeting people, when you're getting to know people and creating friendships and networking, really. Which ministries are best, would you say? Maybe like the young adults ministry. There are probably certain ministries in your church that really want you to serve the people that would love to meet you, and not even just in a romantic way, but also in a friendship way. And there could be so many connections coming from that. So you're not just going on a Sunday morning, going, hearing the sermon, and then immediately leaving. You are making friendships there.
Yeah.
You could go to coffee shops, specifically Christian coffee shops. This is something I literally recently discovered, because this, actually, I didn't even tell you this yet. So many surprises for you today. I am bamboozled
on this podcast episode.
There I was sitting at Dunbrow's Coffee. Okay. Dunbrow's Coffee was organized and funded by Christians.
I actually didn't know that.
Yes. And several Dunbrow's that I've been in have like Christian quotes on the wall, or they have a bunch of like church
Wow.
bulletins up on their bulletin board, things like that. Okay, so there I went there to go do homework. And then there was absolutely no seating inside because someone was having a birthday party. I think it was an older person, and they like had their older friends like sitting in a circle, and they were doing like a jamboree thing. It was awesome. So I was like, okay, I can't focus in here. I go outside. There's this young guy who's probably around our age group sitting there. And I immediately thought of this podcast because I'm not thinking for myself. I'm married. I'm not trying to flirt with anyone. I'm not looking. But immediately I said, wow, we're about to record this podcast. What would I think of to do to start conversation with this guy if I was single and I like
so you give off single vibes, sir.
Yeah, sir, you give off single vibes.
That's a really good point. I'm even thinking of Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Go in your local Chick-fil-A. They're so nice there.
And I had no idea if this guy was a Christian or not. But then what happened? I'm sitting, there's like 3 small tables pushed together. So he's on one end, I'm on the other.
Okay.
There's one table in between us.
Okay.
He pulls out his Bible.
Bam.
Starts reading it.
Bam.
I said, this would be ideal.
Sir, what is your number so I can auction you up on this podcast?
I'm a podcast host, and I just was wondering if you're single. No. I did not start conversation because I'm not in it for that.
She's not in it for the credit.
I had a lot more chances of meeting a Christian at a Christian coffee shop, and then a few girls sat at the table next to us, and they were from a Christian college that's very, very close by. So I was literally surrounded by people who are probably Christians, and so it upped my chances.
Yeah, I'm even thinking of coffee shops that are like near now Christian universities, not even necessarily like Christian coffee shops.
Like next door to them.
If that's what you want, again, you have to put yourself in places where those people might be. That's not to say you will not meet a Christian guy outside of these areas, but we need to play the odds. We need to be like, okay, statistically, what is going to be the most effective place for me to be in order to meet the man that I want to meet? Where do I want him to be? If I'm at a place that I wouldn't want my future husband to be, I probably don't want to meet my husband at that place.
Exactly. Now, there are some certain places that you just love being anyway, like your preferred hobby. Let's say you love pickleball. You're a part of an a cappella group. You love being in show choir. Whatever your hobby is. You love to golf. What other hobbies are there? Tennis?
The Renaissance Fair.
The Renaissance. Oh, you're right.
People love the Renaissance Fair.
People love that stuff.
People do. Maybe you are in a book club.
Yeah.
You ice skate. You play volleyball.
Snowboard. Yeah.
Ski.
Doesn't have to be a sport.
What are all the
We're naming a lot of sports.
We don't know.
Book clubs would be good. But here's the thing is, you can just go online and say, what community events are around me? You never know. There are so many community events at the community center that's probably 6 minutes away from my house.
Yeah.
It's like unreal the opportunities there are to play pickleball. During the summer, it's
Pickleball is a
literally
big one.
5 days a week.
Yes. You are going to meet someone playing pickleball.
It's so much fun.
Ladies, you have to pick up pickleball.
Yes.
Okay?
You do.
If I were single, I'm not very athletic. There's nothing cuter than an athletic guy that's like, oh, let me help her play pickleball. Go get yourself a cute little pickleball outfit, okay? Do what you have to do. And go pick up pickleball.
You need to go to your work events, okay? If they're having some sort of gathering or celebration or birthday party, whatever, you need to be there.
You need to go.
I mean, you could say, well, I already know everyone I work with and there isn't anyone new, no one I'm interested in. You don't know who's going to bring who.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know who's going to bring who. You don't know who's friends with who. And so also by being friends with people and then being like, wow, she's so cool. She's so fun. I actually have someone I would set her up with. You have to play the long game, ladies.
Think long term.
Think long term.
Whether you live in a house in a neighborhood or you're part of an apartment, there are probably some sort of neighborhood or apartment events happening. There's also neighborhood night out, which happens every year. It's a national event. I think it's at the end of August that your whole neighborhood gets together in some way. So look that up if that's something you're not aware of yet. Local speed dating events, stay away from the ones that make you dress up like Bible characters.
Unless that's something
Unless you really
into,
like that.
And then you may meet a man that is just as into that as you are.
Yep. Go to your friends' parties. And if your friends are not having parties, decide to throw a party yourself and tell people to bring whoever they want.
Yes.
So much fun.
Ladies, it could be a potluck. It doesn't have to be a huge thing.
Mhm.
You whip up a cheap baked ziti. Let me tell you from personal experience, that is always a hit.
Always a crowd pleaser.
Always a crowd pleaser.
I
I'm known
love
for my baked
her baked
ziti.
ziti so much.
So you can do things where you facilitate social gatherings. I will also say another strategy is going to these places more than once.
Yeah.
Don't go one time and be like, that
well,
didn't work.
It didn't work.
He wasn't there. You make yourself more available by frequenting the same places more than once. By someone, again, you are playing on this attraction through proximity. Other people are seeing you. Other people are getting used to you. You have more chances to get to know the barista more often.
Mhm.
Or you go to the same restaurant, get to know that waiter, the same grocery store, the person at the checkout counter. Go to the same places more than once so that you can increase your likelihood of proximity to people that may possibly be someone you could be romantically interested in.
And that being said, if you have the option of choosing to work in person or hybrid or remotely, choose to work in person as much as possible, really. And you can say, oh, it's inconvenient, or I don't like the people I work with, whatever. I mean, you really don't know what could happen working in person as much as possible until you do it.
Yes. We're here to not let you get away with those excuses anymore.
They won't work
because
anymore.
Let me tell you, I am a huge introvert. It might not seem like it, but I am a huge introvert. So when I'm even looking at this list, I'm like, that is pretty scary. Thinking about it from an introvert's perspective, I'm like, that's scary. But you know what's scarier? Having this dream of having a spouse and never actually going after that. And 5-10 years down the road, you're like, well, how come everyone has someone but me? Or how come this whole part of my life passed me by and this is a dream I still had? Because you didn't put yourself out there, because you're leaning too far into what's comfortable instead of leaning into what's uncomfortable but good for you. Mm-hmm. This may be only a season. If you meet your spouse and you want to go back to working remotely, or that's something you want to do, by all means. But in this season of your life,
you don't know until you try.
You have to make sacrifices. You have to be uncomfortable. You've got to take some risks. You've got to feel like you got to sweat a little bit in order to, you have to have skin in the game. We can't get a date for you.
We can't.
We'd love to.
We would like to try, but we can't.
We would love to be Millionaire Matchmaker.
Mm-hmm.
One, because we'd like to make $1 million from people who have $1 million.
That'd be great.
Two, I think it'd be so fun to be Millionaire Matchmaker.
I know.
But we can't matchmake you. We are trying to give you the tools to do this on your own. And that is going to involve some stretching and growing and putting yourself out there.
Remember in our last episode, we talked about how the way you can tell if you're really putting yourself out there is kind of the same exact feelings you get with anxiety. So let's keep that in mind. And someone who's incredibly smart, who, if you're really not buying what we're saying, you should listen to Esther Perel. She's one of the most well-known and most accomplished psychotherapists in the world, and she specializes in relationships. This woman is so smart. I think she knows like 9 languages. That's right. I know. So you can look her up and listen to whatever podcast she's on and whatnot. But her research is so in-depth, and overall, her research really emphasizes going beyond the screen and the power of curiosity. So she says, instead of viewing dating as a rigid process with a set outcome, Perel advocates for embracing curiosity and approaching interactions with an open mind. This means being open to new experiences, exploring different types of connections, and being present in the moment. And then when she talks about being beyond the screen, she says, while dating online, she stresses the importance of cultivating real-life connections. She suggests that actively seeking opportunities to interact with people in person, whether through social events or shared activities or even casual conversations. So all research backs up, like, you can online date. You absolutely can. There's nothing wrong with that. It is not a replacement for meeting people in real life.
Yeah. Once you found out the best settings that are for you, hang out there. Like I said before, those are going to be your regular spots. We're not just standing in the corner, though. We're putting ourselves out there. We're getting in their line of sight. We're getting in their proximity. We're introducing ourselves to the girls in the group they're hanging out with. It might seem simple or like matter of fact, but it probably does feel intimidating. You may not know if that person's single yet. That's okay. You have to get to know them a little bit on a friendship level to get to know if they're dating someone. There's no pressure at this point. This is where your fear of rejection is going to start to creep up and be like, no, no, no. If they have a girlfriend, it's the end of the world. No, we already talked about that. You're going to tell that thought to can it,
boot it.
And that's not true.
So you can't expect every conversation you end up having to end up being a romantic connection. That's okay. But you do need to start some sort of conversation or get them to start some sort of conversation. Some ways you could do this. I mean, there's several ways, but one of them, you could wear a t-shirt with a really funny saying on it.
Yes.
That
you
would
could dress
get
up as a
attention.
Bible character.
It's true. That would get some attention. But really just the basic get to know yous, that's all you're after at this point when you're just meeting someone. It's really just what are some basics about you? Just like our friend who met at a concert.
Yeah.
That he literally just asked the basics and now look where they are.
Married.
That
could be you.
That could be you.
If you want. Now, you're also going to be swimming against the current here because we're telling you all these things and maybe these guys aren't hearing this advice too and they're on their phone and they look unapproachable or they're not being ready. But you know that doesn't necessarily mean that. You know that you're trying to go out there. So you're not going to let that create fear in you if they're on their phone or they've got their headphones in. You are going to be bold. You are going to combat what our generation's falling into in this social trap, being on our phones, not being out, because you know that you need to put yourself out there and make a connection.
Yeah.
So you're going to do this for both of you so that you don't miss out on each other.
It's totally okay to interrupt someone who is on their phone because that interaction is going to be more important than what they're looking at on their phone. Probably.
Are they looking at Instagram?
What are you looking at Instagram?
A meme?
Now, okay, Danielle, we've talked about just meeting someone.
Okay.
Let's say someone sees a guy from across the room. They say, oh, he's really cute. I have done step one. I have put myself out there as I am in this room with this other guy who I think is cute. I'm not sure if he's single. I just want to go start conversations. So they don't know anything about him really. They just got to get over there and start conversation. Now what?
Yes. Give the eye contacts. Now, if you want my personal thing, this is what I would do. You see someone across the room, okay? You're going to give them the eyes. Now, you don't want to give them creepy eyes and just stare at them for like 10 straight seconds. But you're going to make eye contact a little bit more than you would if you were just like, I don't know, seeing a random other person that you're not interested in, okay? You are going to casually make eye contact a few times. Honestly, then, if they don't come approach you, which might happen if you're kind of like giving them signals, if you're open, you're not on your phone. If you're with friends, sometimes that's also intimidating. I would make opportunities and space to be like alone to give someone the chance to approach you. Maybe they're shy or they just think like that's too much. Give them the opportunity. If not, go approach them.
Yeah.
Flirt a little bit. Honestly, I would like probably start with like a joke or maybe something about what they're wearing or something like funny about what's going on in the room.
You're looking for that point of connection to talk about.
Yes.
What are they wearing or carrying, or what do you have in common right now in this moment that you can connect on?
Yeah. Something that can maybe be an inside joke for later, you know? Make fun of yourself a little bit. Self-deprecating humor is always fun. Maybe you spilled something on your dress. You make fun of yourself a little. Can I be any clumsier? Oh my goodness, I can't take myself out of the house. You can honestly start this in a few different ways. That just kind of breaks the tension, I think.
It does. And then you're going in with curiosity because you don't know what that conversation will turn into. If they're giving you the signals like they're really not looking you in the eye, they're kind of backing away, or they're not really turning towards you when they're talking.
Or they have a wedding ring when you walk up.
Yes, that
Those are bad signs.
Bad sign. Then you can catch on to that, and then you end the conversation. Okay, you lost nothing by doing that.
No harm, no foul.
You only gained the practice, so that's great. And then if this is a person that you see often, well, how can you set yourself up to be around them more often? You can sit at their same table, or volunteer at the same events, or take the lunch break around the same time, if this is a conversation you want to continue having.
Yeah. Now, ladies, you're probably thinking, what's the difference between proximity and stalking him?
See,
and that's an excellent question.
Excellent question. If you're around too much, it could have the opposite
That'll
effect.
do it.
Yeah, that will do it. So what would you do if you just wanted to become someone's friend?
Yeah.
You'd probably like to sit with them. You'd say, hey, would you be at this event? Because I'm thinking about going, but I don't know. Are you going to go?
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to do this until you get the clarity you need. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
You're going to find out if he's interested.
Yes.
If you can respect someone's boundaries when they may not seem to be interested, responding to you, liking your presence, that's not stalking. That is probably on the safe side. If you're getting the hints where it's like, I've put myself out there a couple of times, maybe I've DM'd them on Instagram.
One-word answers for every question you ask.
He's like, oh, I've got to go somewhere if you go to, talk to him. And then you're like, okay, I've gotten the hint, put myself out there, whatever.
That he's not interested, then you back off.
Yes. What's that movie? He's just not that interested in you.
He's just not that into you.
Into you. That's a really good movie, actually, speaking of other good rom-coms. If he's just not that into you and you were like, I respect that, that's not stalking. If you have a spam account to stalk him on Instagram and his ex-girlfriend from 8 years ago, and his cat died from his family when he was like 8, or the name of his grandpa's cousin who just threw their family reunion, that is stalking.
Then that would be problematic.
If you find yourself making an iPhone giveaway account to follow his private account, that's stalking. If you are like showing up every morning to the coffee shop he frequents on his route to work, but you never ever try to talk to him,
then that's just weird.
that's not just stalking. You might have a problem.
And you're not helping yourself. You're not doing yourself any favors by just being around but not initiating any conversation. So until you get the clarity that he is interested or he is not interested, then you continue to just be in his proximity, try to start conversation.
And ladies, here's the thing. Just be normal.
Just be normal.
So we're playing it on the safe side. You're not going to stalk. You're just going to be in proximity.
Let me tell you how I got into my husband's proximity.
Tell us.
Well, we were in college. You could say we technically met at work. You could say because it was a work college.
I'll allow
it was college.
I will allow the record to show that happened.
But we were on the same work team. So we're on grounds crew together. Okay, so we weren't in class together. We were just, after the classes were over, like 4 days a week or something.
You're working girl, working guy.
Girl. Yep. So then, months go by. I just know him as a friend.
Yeah.
And then I show up for my sophomore year and he is now on staff at the college. So he's no longer a student.
He's working.
He's a working man now.
He's working it.
I am still a student at this point.
He's working it and it's working for Jenny.
Exactly.
That's what we want you to know.
So one of my friends worked with him where he worked. And she said, what about you guys together? What do you think about that? And I was like, whoa, Emma, what a crazy idea you just had.
You were being so insane.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
I can't talk to you being this crazy.
You're insane. No one had ever brought that idea up to me before. So here's the thing, is that maybe a month goes by and I'm like, oh, I think that I may be interested, knowing maybe like this much about him. Everything that I knew was positive, When I started to realize I am interested in getting to know Joe more, I started making sure that I was taking every opportunity to sit at his table during dinner in the lunchroom. So I knew that he would go to dinner early because he would get off work. And so I would make sure to go right after work so that I could probably sit at the same table as him.
Yeah.
Nothing weird about that because it was like so early. It was like one of the only tables that had people at it. Nothing weird. I'm just taking the opportunity.
Yeah.
Then I think we were at like a table during lunch together, and then someone at the table was like, oh, I need to go to the thrift store. Does anyone want to come with me? And he said, yeah, I'll go. And then, do I need something at the thrift store? Absolutely not. But I said, I'll go too.
She did that. Yeah. She needed something at the thrift store then, and it wasn't an item of clothing.
at the thrift
It
store.
was a
I
man.
just started a conversation and it was really fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think as time went on, I think maybe a few more weeks went on, and then I knew the last straw needed to be dealt. Do you know what I did? Did I tell you this?
I don't
already?
know.
So many surprises.
Do I know you at all?
No. So our Christian college had a worship and prayer room on campus, and maybe twice a year they would have a 48-hour burn. That's what they called it. So 48 hours straight of people signing up to do worship sets or prayer during those 48 hours. I saw Joe's name on a slot for one of the hours, and I was like,
You did what needed
I
to be
know
done.
I have
you
to
knew
do.
what you have to do.
And I put my name on that same exact slot so we would be there together. Now, that was recommended. They would say, oh yeah, make sure that it's at least one other person there because you want that accountability to not fall asleep or whatever.
Yes.
And this was during the evening. This wasn't in the middle of the night or anything. So this was a normal awake hour.
Yeah.
And so I put my name down, and then what happened was Joe told his coworkers, I have so much homework, I'm getting my master's degree, whatever, so I don't think I'm going to go tonight. But then his coworker said, no, Jenny signed up the same hour, I think you should go. And he was like,
You're there,
are
buddy.
you kidding me? He liked me at that point, so he asked me out the next day.
There we go.
There you go. That's how you get it done.
Now, I'm going to tell you how I got into Connor's proximity.
Go ahead.
Here's how it started. I don't know if you knew this either. Maybe if I go back to the beginning. I had just transferred in to a school in Minneapolis from New Jersey. In the first couple months I was here, I was going home every couple weeks, just people's birthdays, getting used to living halfway across the country. So when my friends was driving me to the airport, I was like, let me buy you a cup of coffee on the way. Thank you so much for taking me. We are at Spy House, which is a Minneapolis it's like a local chain. And all of a sudden we're in line and some guy just comes walking across the coffee shop and he's staring at me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is the cutest guy I've ever seen in my life. And he comes and introduces, he says hi to the girl I'm with. But he's staring at me the whole time. And then he just walks away. And I was like, do you know that guy? She's like, he goes to our school. She's like, but I've never talked to him before in my life. After that, I found him on Instagram and I followed him. But my Instagram didn't have any pictures of me at all. I was in a really artsy phase where it's just sunsets and cool things. And I also had been blonde for the first 2 years before that. So the only pictures of me were bleached blonde hair. So he never followed me back because he was like, I don't know who this person is at all. And then I was like, okay, I kind of knew who he was, but then we were around school and I was like, there's no way for me to meet this guy. So fast forward then a couple months, my friends were going out in some groups and all of a sudden he starts showing up within proximity. We were then I was standing, I don't know, at a door waiting for one of my friends to come in, and he's walking in after hanging out with two other girls, and he just I was saying hi to them because I was friends with them, and he's just standing there. And again, since we were attracted to each other, it's not creepy, but just kind of staring at me more than normal. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that happened a couple of times. So I'm like, oh my gosh, is this guy interested? What do I do? So I started concocting situations where we would be in proximity with each other. Uh-huh. So my friend Maddie, who's one of my best friends now, was friends with his friend, and they would plan to hang out, and I'd be like, tell him to bring a friend, and then you'll say you'll bring me. And then she would, and he'd be like, I'll bring Connor. And she's like, okay, great, I'll bring Danielle. And then all of a sudden we'd be in situations, and that happens multiple times. Or someone would invite me somewhere and I would know he was going, and so I'd show up, but I'd kind of leave early. So it wouldn't seem like I was staying too late. You have to, sometimes ladies, you do have to play a little hard to get. You know what I mean? You have to create the intrigue if you're kind of, otherwise it really does feel like stalking if you're just there all the time.
All the time right next to
But really the moral of the story is I knew that I thought this guy was so cute. I was getting some signals. Maybe he's interested in me. I think he finds me attractive. And I just kept putting myself in his proximity and making it kind of I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to end the story. But really, needless to say, then he started DMing me about something, an inside joke that we had made during one of the group hangouts. It was kind of the way in. I think I had DM'd him, responding to his story quickly. We didn't continue talking. But then eventually one of the times he had DM'd me back for a different story. Yeah. And then we never stopped talking, and then we hung out and
And
whatever.
then you're still yapping ever since.
Exactly, but it was that inside joke
Yes.
from the proximity that led to the end. And it really was, I mean, I could tell he was attracted to me in the beginning. That was probably like 6 to 8 months before we went out.
Wow. Well,
Needless
here's the
to
thing,
say.
is that we both did these things because we were getting some green lights. And
Yes.
even if they were subtle green lights.
Yeah.
That they weren't backing away, that they weren't answering with one-word answers. We were getting like these positive signals.
Yeah.
And even in the points where we didn't, I'm not sure if he likes me yet, I'm going to make it easier for him.
He's not moving himself out of the way of like making it clear that he wouldn't be interested. Because I think there's also a fine line there of like,
Yeah.
oh, I know he's interested, or I can't tell, but he's not actively not coming to hang out. He's not actively
He is repelled by me.
Yeah. And that's still not a bad place to be in.
No.
Because sometimes someone can be like, sure,
You
it's
could
like,
just
I
be
like hanging out with
open.
you.
Mhm.
Maybe you're not my usual type. And so I'm like, okay, do I necessarily envision you as more than a friend? That's not a bad place to be. That's
No.
not a place to be insulted by. That's a place where it's like, great, let's get to know each other. So the signals that will make it stalking, again, repelled by you.
Repelled.
Don't want to be like one-on-one, actively like, oh, you volunteer, like go with a group, and they're like, actually, I
I don't
plans.
want to be there.
Yeah, we're
Mhm.
taking those hints. But if there's no hints, we're going to casually put ourselves in proximity.
Mhm. And then you do that until you get the clarity you need.
Yes.
Well, we have talked about so much. We just keep yapping. We could just
We
yap
can
and yap.
yap
In
all
fact,
day.
I think we'll yap for 7 more episodes. I think
Lucky
that's what we
you.
should do. But here's the thing. We made a present for you.
Mm-hmm.
An absolute gift we want to gift to you. The link will be in the show notes. We made a playlist that you can play specifically for the car ride to your next date.
Yes.
These are songs that will get you pumped up and make sure you have the confidence to go in there and have fun.
Yes. On your way to the coffee shops,
Mhm.
on your way to social gatherings, on your getting ready to go out on a date,
Mhm.
getting ready to go out to a gathering, and you're like, am I going to meet someone? I don't know. Well, guess what? You're going to listen to this, you're going to get pumped up, and
Yep.
you're going to be ready to put yourself out there regardless.
So all you have to do is click the link and then follow it on Spotify, and it's yours. You're welcome.
You are welcome.
The next thing you can do is you can send us any questions you want to answer on this show, and we'll answer it. So that link is in the show notes too. Please send us any positive experiences you have. We would love to hear those. And then also, if you'd give us a 5-star rating and review, that would help this show get into the ears of other listeners who also need this. So think about it. There's probably more people just like you who want to listen to this.
Yeah.
They just don't know we exist yet. So it is up to you to give us a 5-star rating and review to help make that happen. And then share this episode with any of your single friends saying, I thought this was pretty funny, or I think these girls are a little crazy, and just send it to them. We would love that.
We don't mind being crazy.
We don't mind it.
Here's the thing. Take your single girlfriends out to that coffee shop with you.
Yeah.
Make it an activity.
Mhm.
You are going to start dating like it's your job.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the third thing you leave with, we want you to remember every single thing in this episode. You're like, you have actually asked me to leave with many things.
Like, I didn't take notes,
You are
actually.
going to date like it is your part-time job. Okay? It's not just going to happen to you. In our day and age, we're all on our phones and we're, again, swimming against the current. If you're frustrated, you've been single for a while, you are going to start dating like it's your job, and you've got some new tools to do it.
So this has been How to Get a Guy in 10 Ways. We'll see you on our next episode.
Good luck, guys.